So to access that application, we need a users, whatever the users is trying to use that application. Okay, we need to configure privileges for that particular application. So to minimize this administrative burden on each system, on each user, on individual server, then the concept comes in picture, centralized management. Centralized management in the sense, I can manage the users from one particular centralized management console so that that particular user or that particular group can be configured on any server across the environment and no need to log in individual system. No need to log in each system and then go to local users and computer, local users and groups, and then reset password or user properties, adding user to respective group and security policies. I'm not in a position to go and log in each and every server to provide for a particular user access management. So how do we configure centralized management of users, groups, and objects? Okay, that the concept comes in Active Directory. Active Directory services. What is that Active Directory services? It's a domain concept wherein on a centralized management console, centralized management in the sense, I, I have installed a server, 2008 server. Okay. Now, what I am going to do is, whatever the server I install, I'm going to choose one server as a centralized management console for my users database. Okay. On one server, I'm going to install certain components to make that server as a Active Directory services, Active Directory concept, Active Directory roles, whatever you may name it. So what I'm going to do is, whatever the server we made ready, that server I'm going to use certain purpose. Now I'm going to install Active Directory components on that server. Why Active Directory? The Active Directory is nothing but it is going to provide certain management features of users and related objects management, centralized management. I can create user on one particular server. It should usable by any other server within the environment. That is Active Directory. Okay. Without understanding local users, local groups, and local security policies, there is no relation to Active Directory. Okay. First, we need to understand local users. Then, why local users? Why centralized management, user management? Okay. So, without understanding local users, we can't understand centralized management database. This is simplest example of mobile device. You are registering your name, contact name on your mobile. Okay. That means you are creating one database on your mobile. If you want to create a database on each mobile device to make a person, how you are going to represent? That is considered as a local user management, local contacts we call it as. What is a centralized management contact database? I can call it as yellow pages, wherein I can find all the information in a one book, all the names, all the sales, mobile devices, okay, mobile phone numbers, renters, and all those things. Okay, here what we need to understand, what is the local users, what is the groups, what is the security policies, and then these individual server components I'm going to manage at a centralized location. What to do that to perform centralized management console? Then the concept comes in Active Directory, Active Directory services. How to install Active Directory, where to install, how to configure user database, what is the difference between local users and Active Directory objects. We'll go and configure that concept now. Srini, please share your system, open 2008. start 2008 server.
I think you're speaking in mute. Your voice is not audible.
Application I'm calling as a that AD server. Now I'm calling this as a AD server. I'm going to configure this server as AD. Okay. See here, before proceeding this particular configuration, as soon as we complete the server installation, what we did, we configured a static IP address, isn't it? Static IP address is over, and then RDP console is over, then firewall configuration. These are the basic things we did during the right after server installation. Now I'm going to look at what is my system name. Okay, how to change my system name. Okay, click on server manager. See here, click on change system properties. Wait. Cancel. By seeing this, you can see the computer information. What is the full computer name? Some name is there. What is the work group? The work group name is there. Okay. What is IP address? Remote desktop enabled. Server manager, remote management enabled. All this concept it is showing. Now what I need to do is, right after installation of server, we configured only IP address, static IP address. Okay. Now we need to make sure what is the system name. The server, I'm going to give it some name to identify this server is a AD server. What I'm going to install on this server? I'm going to install Active Directory components. What is Active Directory components? It is a centralized user database management. Okay. So what are this name we are going to mention to the server? That name should be meaningful. Okay. Generally in enterprise environment, how the name server name is going to represent. For example, consider as a Reliance Industries. Okay. Server name starts with RIL. Okay. Open Notepad. Increase the font. Okay. So any organization, how they are going to do is the computer name there it is going to represent in such a way that by seeing the computer names they should understand what the server is belongs to. For example, consider as a Reliance Industry, I'm going to make the server name as RIL, first three letters denotes that organization name RIL. Okay, then where this server is located, on which data center, which location it is located. For example, in India, their branch offices are there, Hyderabad, Bangalore, like that Chennai. Now I'm going to make it as this server as a Bengaluru server, BLR. Okay, so by seeing the server name, first 3 letter denotes a organization name. After 2 letters or 3 letters represents city location or country location, whatever it may be. Then what is the function? Is it their servers are available? Their types of servers we discussed about server type, hardware type, OS version wise. Now we are talking about application wise. But in enterprise environment, there are different types of servers like production server, test server, database, development server. Production server in the sense that server is a functioning production applications, live environment. Okay, so test server in the sense whatever the application they are going to install, first they will implement on a test machine, test server to check that performance. What is the development server? The developer, whatever the developer is going to perform an application, developing an application, first they will execute that application on a development environment, how it is functioning and all those things. So that is a development server. Once development is done, then what they do, they test that function in a test environment, how it is functioning, tested that particular application. Okay, and production environment. There are different functions, application, server type, and all those things. So the Bangalore is over. What is the next type of production or development or test environment? So I'm making as a PRD, production. Okay, production is done. What is that? After that, I'm just going to finish this as application, just AD, Active Directory. How many AD servers are there in my environment? If I'm going to install, this is one server. But a large scale industry, large scale environment, there are multiple servers are available. One server is not in a position sufficient. So I'm going to make number of servers for Active Directory function. So for that, I'm going to denote what is the server name in that location, AD01, AD001, like that. I'm going to make it as a 01 now. Okay. So you can name the server according to your environment, how it is designed, how it is going to represent. By seeing the server name, I should in a position to understand what the server function. So first 3 letters I said that Reliance Industry. Next 3 letters it denotes city. Next 3 letters is environment, prod environment, test environment, development environment. After that, what is the server number? In this entire environment, I'm not in a position to understand, is it a physical server or is it a virtual server? Or is it a 2000 Windows server or whatever it may be? So if you want, you can include that information as well. For example, by saying this, I'm not in a position to understand, is this a physical or a virtual environment? Some people are denotes P as in a physical, V as in virtual. Okay, they are going to add in somewhere else that P denotes a physical server. Somewhere they denote V as a virtual environment. Okay, like that we can make that this generally this while designing the architect and the architectures are going to design how this server names are going to represent what application. They are going to design some document wherein they'll define all these concepts. Okay, so you can design your environment on your own, how to represent server names. Okay, so I'm going to use this server name as, go ahead with the server name, whatever we derived, go with that server name, put that server name. How to put this, change the server name. Now I'm going to change the server name, copy this server name, and go to this change system properties. If any doubt is there, just let me know, stop me, okay, and ask any doubt, okay. Now I'm going to change the computer system name. How to change? I'm going to change system properties. Now I'm going to click on change. See here, what is the computer name? I need to change this computer name. What is the computer name I designed? some name I designed. You can design or you own whatever the name, your family name, or your family structure, whatever the way you are going to design your lab, it's up to you. Okay, put that name. By seeing that name, you should understand, you should get all the information. That is a creativity, that is a design perspective. Okay, generally architects who are working as an architects, they are going to design entire environment, how many servers are required, and all those things information. Okay, by seeing that name, I should understand all those features. Okay. Okay, see here, I mentioned a computer name, some name. Okay, click on OK. It is going to reboot. Once the system name is changed, go ahead and restart the system. Okay, now we are going to configure this server as an active directory. Okay, why is active directory is required? What is the function we created? What is the purpose we are going to create active directory? Okay, I started with user. I'm going to correlate each and component. If you are not in a position to correlate, it is not in a position to understand the concept. Okay, user, why the user, why the group, why the security policies, and then what is the function of centralized management. The centralized management is nothing but active directory in Microsoft component, Microsoft server component active directory, one particular feature, one particular role it is going to function. What as the roles are available, we are going to see. Okay, I am going to talk about in this particular 2000 server Windows Server concept. I am going to talk about Active Directory, DNS, and DHCP. These three functions I am going to talk about. I am going to finish this Windows 2000 Windows Server concepts. Then we'll proceed with virtualization. So what you need to catch here, we need to understand what is the requirements. We understand what is a server first, how to install, what operating system we need to choose. Once operating system installation, what is the basic configuration we need to perform. Okay, once basic configuration is done, how to make that server is useful, what function we need to make enable on that particular server. This entire sequence is coming from a point to point. So I'm not going to cover in deep sessions, because you need to understand these basic concepts and then you need to explore on yourself. Okay. So till now, you may not aware what is a server. Now you got an information that this is a server, how to enable the certain functions. So it is easy to go ahead and YouTube or Google how to enable this function. Step by step information is available. Many YouTube channels are available wherein you can Google it and try to understand each function, how to enable function. I'm going to show you now. We are going to configure Active Directory. Okay, this is a simple one feature. I'm enabling this server. So what feature we need to install, what function you are going to make useful for this particular server. You need to understand and you need to type in internet, I need to install certain particular application server. What is the requirements? What is the operating system I need to install? What hardware we need to select? All those things, concepts you need to analyze. You need to explore your knowledge by going through this basic understanding of server operating system. Okay. Now I'm going to enable Active Directory function on this particular server. How to do that? We need to open Server Manager. It is already open in Server Manager. Now, still now we are using a console. Generally, the console is not available all the times. How do we do that? We enable RDP, Remote Desktop. So minimize this VMware registration. Try to connect this server remotely by using remote desktop connection and then configure the server. In a remote administration, whatever the server administrator is going to do, there is no possibility to connect the server always to the console. You should understand what is a console, what is a remote desktop session. Okay. So I'm going to log in as administrator. Okay. See here, we change the computer name. You can mention any computer name as you wish. It is not a matter. Okay. Now, see here under server manager, there is an option called roles, features. The first option roles under server manager. Under server manager, there is an option roles, features. Features is there. Okay. We are going to configure what is a role, what is the features. First select the roles. What roles are available? Roles is nothing but this server having a default functions available. We need to enable that function to configure this server. See what is the roles are available. How many roles are there? Total 17 roles are available on this server. Nothing installed on this particular server. 0 out of 17. What are the roles are available? Click on add roles. Next, see here, what are the roles are available? I'm going to talk about Active Directory. I'm going to talk about DNS server. I'm going to talk about DHCP server. These three components I'm going to talk about. Rest of the components, if you want, you can give a try how to configure the server, what purpose they are going to configure, in what scenario it is required. Okay, why I'm going to cover this Active Directory? It is a minimum basic understanding because it is a user database management. Without understanding how you are logging to the system, how the domain architecture is available, and what is a DNS function, what is a DHCP function. These are the basic components in a server administration. Rest all the things according to requirement you can configure. First, we need to understand where to enable those components, how to make use of the server. So that information you understood. Now you are capable of enough to configure the server as per the requirement. Okay. Now go with the Active Directory. What features are available? Active Directory, certificate and services. I'm going to install only, not the first one. Remove that first one. I'm going to install only Active Directory services, Active Directory domain services. Okay. As soon as select the check boxes, it is adding additional components which required for this particular function. So add required features. Click on add required features. So I just selected Active Directory domain services. Nothing else I selected. Okay. What is the services available? What is the requirements available? It is going to install later components while installing Active Directory. Okay. My intention is to make this server as an Active Directory server. So I am selecting as a Active Directory domain services. Okay. Click next. Next. Finish. Install. In a server administration, main understanding is most of the thing is where to start. Okay, that's the information I'm going to provide you. Okay, by using this basic information, you have to explore your knowledge. That is a concept here. There's a lots of features, lots of configuration, okay, available on this server for each server, not only this Windows 2000 Windows server concept. There are other servers are available. You need to, as a fresher, as a L1 and L2 engineer, you need to explore the knowledge in a different way. Click on close. Okay, now the roles installed. Now what I need to do, I need to configure the server as an Active Directory. I need to install Active Directory, make the server as an Active Directory. There is an wizard, Active Directory wizard. How to enable that? There is a command. We need to log in the server as a administrator. Okay, that is first basic priority. Then we need to make sure Active Directory service role is installed. That is done. Then the next concept is I need to configure Active Directory. We just install this Active Directory concept. Now I'm making as an Active Directory server. How to do that? Okay, go to run, open Notepad, make the font big, DCPROMO, DCPROMO, yes. Execute this command at the run command. This is a command to start the installation wizard, configuration wizard of Active Directory components. See, what are the components it is required? It is going to check the components installed available on the server or not, and then proceed for the installation. Okay, so what is the purpose of this function? Why we are enabling? We need to correlate each and everything. Okay. Now it is asking welcome to the Active Directory domain service installation wizard. Okay. Now there is an option use advanced mode installation. You can go with advanced mode installation. Now it is not required. We'll just go with normal installation only. I'm going to just show as a basic understanding how to install Active Directory. It is a small environment, a small lab environment. Generally, how they are going to configure an enterprise environment, large scale environment. A single domain control is not going to sufficient. In each site, in each environment, they are going to deploy an Active Directory service server domain architecture. We are going to see how the architecture is. For example, head office is there in Mumbai, in India. That is a head office, Mumbai. Then next Bangalore, one branch. Hyderabad is one branch. Like different location, in each environment, they are going to install domain controllers. The concept is what is a primary domain control, what is a child domain controller. Different architecture is going to come. According to the architecture, they are going to create different concepts. I'm going to show you the basic concept here. You are going to install only one server, only one location. We are going to understand how the naming convention, how the domain architecture is going to represent. By understanding this, you need to understand in different large scale environment, how many domain controllers are available. This is a small lab. I'm going to install only one domain controller. If my Hyderabad office or my Bangalore office, it is according to number of users who are going to available, according to number of users, I need to design the Active Directory. Without Active Directory, I'm not in a position to log into the systems. Number of systems, 1,000 systems are there, 1,000 desktops are there. Maybe servers, maybe 10 or 15 servers, doesn't matter. But 1,000 desktop system users need to log into my environment. Okay, 1,000 users need to create. The 1,000 users need to how to create, how to segregate. Okay, we are going to understand. Click on next. We need to correlate each and every component. This basic configuration, basic administration in the sense, we need to correlate each and every component so that you can have a clear understanding why we are doing, how to do, and all those things. By understanding these basic concepts, you need to explore. Okay, see, it is providing some information. This Active Directory installation is available on each version. Earlier versions, I told you what Microsoft versions are available. Since Windows NT 4.0, 2000 server, 2003, 2008 we are doing now, but current version is 2016 or 2000 later version. Okay. For each version, the wizard may be different, but concept is same. Only thing is you need to understand how to install Active Directory on 2012 server, how to install Active Directory on 2016. That's Google it. You will get lots of information. In that way, you need to explore the knowledge. It is not restricted to only 2008 server. Why I am choosing 2008 server? It requires a few less memory and less processor count and less space. We are in working on lab environment, so we don't have sufficient resources to go with higher versions. Okay, so if we have the environment with high configuration, you go with installing 2012, configure 2012 AD to install 2016 server OS, configure AD, how to configure AD. Okay, you are just enabling function. Okay, proceed with next. Try to understand the concept. Okay, now here, what is existing forest? What is create new domain control in a new forest? Existing forest, first option is existing forest. The next option is create a new domain in new forest. What is this? This function is nothing but we are creating a domain controller. If my environment is already set up, I'm going to create a domain controller. Okay, I need to choose existing forest. If I'm going to create a domain controller as a fresh one, I'm going to create is select an option, create a new domain control. Because this is my first system. I'm going to configure domain controller as a first component. So what's the option we need to choose? Create a new domain controller. Select second option, proceed next. What is full FQDN? FQDN is nothing but fully qualified name. How it is going to derive means we provided a system name. What is a domain name? I provided a system by thinking of Reliance Industries. Okay. Now domain name should be Reliance. Fully qualified name, how it is going to derive means go to Notepad. Remove that, come down. So I'm going to make it as a domain. One domain in the sense one entity. Generally, we see that irct.co.in, otherwise myinternet.com. That .com is coming up from the domain architecture. Okay, I'm going to provide a domain name. Initially, while configuring the server name, we understand some server name concepts. Now, I'm going to create my enterprise one name. What is my enterprise name? You can name it our family name or your office name, whatever it may be. So I'm going to create such function lab.com. Okay, just mention lab.com. Okay, what would be the fully qualified name? Fully qualified name is nothing but server name dot my domain name. Server, what is the server name? My server name is something is there, BLR, RIL, BLR, some name is there. What is FQDN? Now I need to mention this lab.com in this backside screen. That is wizard screen, lab.com. Mention that lab.com in FQDN place. What is my, I designed that I'm going to install domain control as a lab.com. Okay, it's up to your wish, whatever the domain you are going to put. Just mention lab.com. Okay, then next. It is checking whatever the domain name you are going to mention, it is going to check the entire network, is that particular domain name is already exist or not. It should be unique. This name, whatever the name you are going to mention, it should be unique. There should not be any coincidence. Okay, otherwise it is going to throw an error. Now it is going to forest function level. What is forest function level? I'm going to teach about. Okay, just be here. We need to talk about little more. Go to Notepad. Let me go to Notepad. Come down. FSMO roles. FSMO roles. Okay. FSMO roles. What is this roles? FSMO roles. Open your desktop. Open internet. I'm just giving you the information you need to understand by going to internet. I'm not going to cover all these concepts. you need to explore. What is the port numbers are required for Active Directory services? This is a basic information. First, Google it. What is the port number for Active Directory? Type active port number for Active Directory. I told you what is the importance of port numbers. You need to by heart the port numbers for certain important application in server administration. Okay, see here, what different Active Directory. Click on that first option. How to configure firewall for Active Directory domains. Yeah, this is going to provide what is the port numbers are for available for Active Directory. Okay, or you can Google it. What is the minimum basic port numbers for Windows Server administration? That is also provides some information. Okay, you need to by heart those port numbers. Okay, this is fine. How to search the port numbers? That's our information. You need to look into that. Okay, Active Directory also function. I told you that each application is associated with some port number. Okay, where this port number is going to come into picture on top of it, IP address system. Okay, once IP address is available, if I want to browse the internet, simple HTTP, it is going to work with port number 80. Here it is there HTTPS secure layer. That in the sense the port number is there, background it is working as a 143. Okay, similar way I'm going to talk about Active Directory services. So what is the port number for Active Directory? Okay, then open Google back FSMO Models. See all these port numbers, different port numbers. Okay, 636, 3268. These are what is the LDAP? light light Lightweight directory access protocol. Okay, so we need to understand these port numbers. You need to by heart whatever the way you want. If you are looking for career in system administration, you should understand basic port numbers for each application. You need to by heart. These port numbers are not going to change. Okay, go back to the Google and type FSMO roles. FSMO roles. There are 5 roles available. Okay, you need to understand these 5 roles. Okay, see here, schema master, domain naming master, relative ID master, primary domain controller, PDC emulator. Okay, infrastructure master. In these 5 roles, what is FSMO roles means? These 5 roles are available in Active Directory concept. Okay, in these 5 roles, there are 2 roles related to forest, 3 roles are related to domain wide. Forest wide roles, domain wide roles. What is forest wide? What is domain wide roles? This is the basic information you should have. If you want in-deep knowledge, what schema master is going to do, what domain naming master is going to do, you need to little bit, not in deep. For basic system administration, you have to understand these roles, what it is going to do. Okay, I told you port numbers. The next concept is FSMO roles. Okay, how many FSMO roles? In interview question also they may ask how many roles are available. Okay, out of 5 roles, what is the forest wide roles? What is domain wide roles? Okay, you just go and Google and try to understand. Minimize this, go to the server. I'm just giving information, basic information, try to understand. Okay, you need to explore the knowledge. If you open Google, internet, lots of information is available. You need to explore. Okay, where is that concept? Where is the wizard? Open wizard. Yes. Okay. Now, forest function level. Why I'm going to FSM role? What is function for role? Forest function. What is the forest roles? Okay. I'm going to select 2008. Drop down there. 2008 R2. Okay. The next. So it is examining DNS configuration. What is a DNS configuration? Let it install to a DNS server. What is DNS server? What is the importance of DNS server? We'll talk about tomorrow, if possible. Okay, next. So what is the importance of DNS? Okay, click yes. Without DNS, there is no, we cannot install Active Directory component. See here, it is going to create a database. What is database? Database is nothing but I told you centralized management console. What is centralized management console we are doing? We are doing a user database management, user groups and some policies. In this particular Active Directory, we call it as a group policies. Okay, wherein in local system we call it as a local security policies. Now here new concepts. Okay, domain users. Instead of local users, we are going to call it as a domain users. Instead of local groups, here we are going to call it as a domain groups. Okay, instead of local security policies, we are going to call it as a group policies. Okay, see how we need to correlate what is the fun where I started users, groups, policies, then what centralized management. In centralized management, how we are going to correlate. Okay, click next. It is going to install this components, this database to hold this configuration, whatever the user database centralized console management, it is going to configure. Here, it is going to ask the password. If, for example, some issue has happened, you can restore the function. Okay. What is the service? It is Dsrm. They may ask in interview questions, how do you restore Active Directory? What password? How do you do that? There is an option. We should have an administrator password to restore this Active Directory. That is what Directory Service Restore Mode password. DSRM. Okay, what is DSRM password? Do you know? You should understand what is DSRM, Directory Services Restore Mode password. Okay, this password, whoever installing Active Directory in an enterprise environment, they'll maintain this password separately. Okay, generally Active Directory is a separate function in enterprise environment. Who are working on Windows Server administration, they do normal activities, but Active Directory itself, they separate expert is required to configure these group policies, this Active Directory, managing groups, managing users, all those things. A separate admin will be there in a large scale industries, large scale environment. Okay, that is it's vast subject. It is not a small subject. It is a vast subject in Active Directory itself. You can restrict the group policies. Click provide the password, default password. I'm going to explain. Click on next. Okay. See, if you go to ATM, I'm getting only screen. What screen I'm going to get? That banking application only. Even though it is a computer, I'm not getting any option to click on start and to click on any icon. I'm getting only one screen. Click next. This is installation. It is continuing. Let it continue. Okay. So what it is going to do? It is going to get some screen. How they are going to manage in ICICI.com in ICICI Bank. If you go to ICICI Bank ATM, you are going to get only one screen. If you're going to get one computer in a bank site, they are going to open only web browser. You cannot perform any other functions. How they are restricting? They are restricting that each application, each computer function through group policies. Entire environment. Wherever you go in ATM, the ATM screen you are going to get only the screen where you withdraw money or deposit money, whatever it may be. But other functions are not getting. That is also a system, basic computer, but you are getting only certain screen. How they are going to restrict? By using this Active Directory group policies. So I told you while configuring local policy also, don't play with local policies. If you play with local policies, you are gone. You have to completely rebuild the server. Like that group policies. If local policies belongs to only that particular system, Think about group policies. If we made some mistake in group policy that impacts entire environment, that's the critical job, how they are going to work on group policies. They don't allow all the users, all the administrators to manage those group policies. Okay, group policies and under Active Directory group policies, this entire Active Directory is a vast subject. There are subject matter experts to configure, to perform this Active Directory roles, group policies functions, and enterprise level. Okay, we just completed the Windows 2000 server, Windows 2008 server, and just installing component. For us, it is just a basic component. But in this particular concept,